coming in through the holes in the walls. Black snake, looks so beautiful in the white halls. Move so peaceful, move so tame. Can't see the shadows cast along the way. Black snake, who'd you come for this time?
Well, it's great to see you. You look great.
Thanks.
We spent last week, and I was telling my producer earlier, Sam, we were listening to Black Snake, which comes out November 19th. What a fucking amazing EP, Sarah. Like, those songs, Sarah, to me, you talk about songwriting and all of these songs, you piloted the songwriting. Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's definitely been a labor of love, that's for sure. It's
Yeah. But you know what? Like,
it's
and
so
I should tell
exciting.
my audience, like we briefly met in person, and you had this energy that you had a sleeve, like a card under your sleeve. I just knew it. I knew it. You had the confidence. We felt it, and now we know why.
I know
Perfect.
you were like, come be on my podcast. I was like, you don't even know if you like my music yet.
But Sarah, I wonder if like the fact that you're like such a great songwriter in here in Black Snake, if that isn't part of the satisfaction, right? Like when you release an album like this, every song is fantastic, but when you look back on it, isn't it amazing and special that it all came from your head and like it's out in the world now?
Yeah, it feels, the whole thing was written, for the most part, most of it was written within a year. The only
Yeah.
song that is before that was Black Snake, which is a song that came out early, I think 2019, or that I wrote early 2019. It was just like, one of those songs where I wrote and was like, everything's about to change.
Why? Okay,
Uh,
right, because of the world, right?
well, I just like, it was one of those. I hadn't written a song in a really long time. Like I quit doing
Right.
music for a long time,
Hmm.
and then I came back. I every once in a while just like pick up my guitar and just like fiddle with something and write like half of something. And I was in this place where every time I would sit down to write a song, it would things would come out that I wasn't necessarily ready to
Yeah.
uh, admit yet. So I was like, I can't touch my guitar.
Sure.
But that's when my conscious comes out. My yeah. So I
Yeah.
just stopped writing. I just stopped writing because I was like,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
like what's coming out. It's not what I want to come out. I want happy
Yeah.
songs. And it's just like, um, yeah. So it's been really interesting. This is like the most vulnerable EP I've ever put out.
Hmm.
So it's been exciting and cathartic, but then also terrifying and,
Sure.
uh, you know,
Yeah. I mean, you basically have a career already in music, or a really good one. You come from music family,
mhm.
but yes, like you said, like you have an interesting career in that you stopped a couple times. You've like coming to your true essence, see what's going on, and tell me about this period. Talking about that, Sarah, like when you hit pause, you went to Colorado, and you studied like evolutionary biology, right? Because I mean, that's fascinating. Like, what a pivot. What did you learn from that time of your life, and what do you carry with you from that time?
So that was right out of high school. So
Okay.
I went to an art school in high school. I was at National School of the Arts, and my concentration was in music and songwriting.
Right.
Uh, and I just wanted to get the hell out of Nashville. I hadn't
You are
ever,
from Nashville, just for the
yeah,
record. Yeah.
born and raised.
You're the rare one. Hmm.
Right, 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 yeah. I feel like a lot of musicians whose parents are also musicians are from Nashville.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're second generation.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get the hell out of Nashville, and um, my mom is an artist, and my sister's an artist, and I kind of just it was my rebellion. I was like, the first time I wrote a song was I was like in kindergarten or something.
Right.
So I was always writing songs. So I was just like, I'm gonna do the opposite of what everyone thinks I'm gonna do.
Hmm.
And I went to Colorado and to study biology because I then also fell in love with Jane Goodall, and I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
live in the woods in the jungle, and I'm gonna study animals, and I still love that stuff. It's just it's just not my calling, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, just to share with my audience, your mom, of course, I may not know her, Irene Kelly, amazing
Hmm.
songwriter. It's written for Ricky Skaggs, Alan Jackson, Loretta Lynn, everyone who's anyone in Nashville. And how was that growing up with her, Sarah? And what I mean, like, would there be songwriting sessions like formal, like where you guys just kind of like cooking and just burst out into like songwriting? Like, how is that? Because just kind of obsessed with that process there.
Well, my mom was a songwriter, so she was always having songwriting sessions in her house.
Right.
Um, and she always had publishing deals and stuff, so she would like go her going to work was going to write songs.
Sure.
It's so funny. I was actually at a party the other night, and there were just like children running around while there was music going on. I was just like, this. I love this because it makes me. It feels really nostalgic. Because that's what it was. My childhood was like. Was my mom and my dad would like. All their friends were musicians. They were all songwriters. So the parties that they would go to were
Right.
songwriting parties,
Right.
and it'd be a bunch of these like hit songwriters just like sitting in a room passing guitar around, and then me and my sister and all of their kids would just like run around and
Just being
play.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and then every once in a while go into the living room and sit down and like listen to a song and get back up and play, like run around around. And I was just like, this feels like my childhood. This is so bizarre. I like,
So cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. I love that. I love that, Sarah. But yeah. Okay. And listening to like, of course, the EP. I mean, we were thinking some of these songs, they just seem to flow out of you, right? Like when I hear a song like a prayer to whomever,
Hmm.
like it just seems like it just pours out of you. There's, I've heard painters and artists say like, oh, like I've had things that come out of me in 10 minutes. And I go, it's not possible. But with you, it sounds like songs like these do come out like just so naturally, don't they?
Yeah, for the most part, I have an issue that if I don't finish a song within one sitting, I usually don't finish it. Uh, there have been a handful of exceptions to that rule. Rains in Montana, which is not out yet. That's going to be the last song on the EP.
Hmm.
That's a song I wrote the first verse and chorus and was just like labored over it for a couple weeks and finally sent it to my producer, and I was just like, is this even worth finishing? And he was like, please finish it. This is the best chorus you've ever written. And then the song Astronaut,
Yeah.
my
Beautiful.
last EP,
Hmm.
that song took me like 6 years to write. I had like pretty much the first two verses in the chorus part or the B section, and I just couldn't write that last verse, and it took forever to get it out. And every once in a while, I'd pick it up and I'd write a verse, and I'd be like, "Doesn't feel right, doesn't feel right," um, it was just one of those songs that was always in the back of my head that was just like, I feel like this song needs to be finished. But for the most part, yeah, a prayer to whomever. Once again, I hadn't written a song in a really, really long time, and so I went to my friend Phoebe Hunt's
Hmm.
house, and she was hosting just like a gathering,
Sure.
and I just started. We were just talking about art and like our process, and I just started crying. And it was just like, I'm miserable. I haven't written a song in forever. I don't feel like I have creativity anymore. Like blah blah blah. And she was like, how about this? Okay, I have to go to work, but like you stay here and write a song or just cry or whatever. And so she just like left me in her living room, and I just sat there and stared out her window and was just like, I just remember very vividly looking at the tree across the street from her house and just imagining myself standing on the very top of it and just falling backwards off of it. And that just kind of was the the energy that I was feeling. Um, and then it all just kind of came from there. Like
Oh my
falling.
God.
I was like, okay, if I'm not gonna hit the ground, what's after that? If I
Love the
fall and I don't
process.
hit the ground, what comes next?
Oh my God, it's so wonderful. And a song like Astronaut, Sarah, like 6 years to create. When did you know? Like, how do you know? Boom, breakthrough, unlocked, like across the finish line. Like, is it a moment? Do you know? Like, that's like, how did it happen?
Going into the studio and I was just like, I want to record this song.
Yeah.
And I thought that I had finished it. And I actually, there's like that last verse, I was not really that stoked on the like last two lines, but I was just like, oh, I want to get it done anyway. So we just recorded it. And by 6 years, it took about 4 years to write. And then we went in and recorded it. And then right before, so I recorded the wild and then I held on to it for about 3 years before I released it. And before we released it, I was like, there's just still something about Astronaut that needs to be fixed. So we took it back into the studio and like add the kind of more like percussive piano parts on it. So
Yeah.
it took 4 years to write. It took 3 years to record. It was just like
Wow.
songs that was just like, I don't know. I just like, kept coming back to it and being like, something. There's something else. There's something else. There's something else. Like one of the most.
And that's such a big part of the song, so it's amazing that it came at the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just like, there's something that like feels too. It's not grounded. There's something that's grounding this song, and so that's where that
Mm,
came from. Yeah.
I love it. Sarah, how was COVID for you? And the reason why I ask is because, I mean, it's a trite question, but just hearing you speak, you're so profound and you're so in tune with nature. You're so in tune with the universe and like with yourself and with the world. How are those months like in lockdown, in tranquility, like within yourself? It seems like you really embrace that. Am I wrong?
Some days I did, yeah. At first it was awful because I was like, um, coming into 2020, I had just broken up with my then husband, and it was just kind of like, this is gonna be. I had just released The Wild in October of 2019.
Right.
So I was like, I want to start touring. I want to play out in Nashville a lot. I'm like ready to get back into myself. I'm ready to um, like reconnect with my old friends. I'm ready to make new friends, like maybe kiss some boys in the at parties, stuff like that. And then I was like, and I'm gonna, buy a house. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm making good money and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden it was like the pandemic. I lost my job. You know,
Yeah.
wasn't able to like go to parties and meet people and
Or
tour and all
kiss
that
boys
stuff.
or kiss anyone. Yeah.
Boys, kissing boys.
Yeah.
That was the worst part. No
That
kissing.
was that was the hard part of it. I agree.
uh, but then it actually ended up, the first half of it actually ended up, because once I became, after like 3 weeks of, oh wait, this isn't going anywhere, I was like, okay, so then how do I come to peace with this? And I I spent a lot of time just like sitting and writing. So a lot of these songs, like I Am the Ocean and Our Story, are both written. I was staying at my mom's house because I just went through a divorce, but um, were both written at my mom's house.
Hey, listen, we should have talked about that when we met. I'm team divorce early pandemic too, so I
Right.
know. Yeah, exactly. That's for episode for the next episode. Yeah.
Right. We'll talk about it another time. Yeah. I got a lot to say. That was the thing. The pandemic either strengthened your relationship or broke up relationships that needed it. So,
Yeah.
um, and then I stayed at my friend's Airbnb for a month because no one was staying there. She needed someone to watch it, and I didn't have anywhere to live. And then I was able to go to and I was making unemployment, so it was great. I was making a bunch of money and wasn't tied to anything, wasn't paying rent, wasn't in a relationship, and so I packed my car up with my dog and we drove up to Montana and just stayed there for a month and hiked and um, all that stuff. And then
Nice.
the hardest part was coming back from Montana because it was, I spent so much time running around, staying at my mom's, staying at Airbnb, going to Montana, hopping around, hiking a bunch. And then I was just like, okay, I'm ready to just like have a place that's mine. And so I got this apartment in Nashville and was felt great at first and was picking out my couch and this is the first time I'm actually in my life in my 30s. This is the first time in my life where I'm actually uh, growing an aesthetic and having my own space. So it was really exciting at first, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, it was just the first time I had absolute stillness,
Yeah.
and that was kind of a mind fuck. That was
Right.
pretty difficult. Probably necessary,
Yeah.
definitely necessary. There's only so much running you can do, but there was about a month or two where it was just dealing with the stillness for the first time
Yeah.
was rough. Yeah,
Definitely. How long were you in Montana for, Sarah?
about a month in
About a month.
May
That's
2020.
gr- that's oh my God. So you were there early. That seems like a pretty important trip. Like, did you just like for yourself coming out of like the personal situations and where you were creatively? That must have been a trip. No
It
pun
was
intended.
great, and I have family up there, so I had places to stay and stuff. And when I got up there, it was like right after. I think when I was up there was the weekend that they were opening Yellowstone for the first time after
Oh
the
wow. Okay. So not too many people. You kind of had the place to yourself. Beautiful.
nobody was there. It was crazy, and I went with my cousin, and we went to Old Faithful, and there were maybe like 80 people there. He was like
Wow.
saying there are usually thousands of people here
Yeah.
connected, like you know, 10 rows deep, and
Wow.
yeah. So it was pretty spectacular, and just all the hiking trails I went on, there was nobody on them.
Right.
Uh, and
Such a
I
special
had my
trip.
dog with me, so
Of course.
scared.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. We don't care about the exes. We care about our dogs.
Right.
Please.
Every once in a while, I was like, "What would I do if a mountain lion jumped
Oh
out?"
my
I
God.
would
Yeah.
probably die, but like, we'd put up a good fight.
Oh my God. I love that, Sarah. You're being so good with your time. Thank you. You've opened up for like Emmylou Harris and Rodney Crowell, and you shared the stage with so many great Nashville musicians just from your childhood on. I know in Nashville we run into people all the time, right? It's like a thing here. But as a student of music that you are, not just family royalty, I mean, who appreciates everything from Dylan to Patty Griffin, when someone like Emmylou Harris asks you to open for her, Sarah, like that must still, even though you have all this path behind you, that must still be an incredible feeling, right?
She's the greatest. Yes, it's an incredible feeling. And it was for a musician's corner where she was, I think it was right after, this was many years ago, it was right after she had opened her dog rescue Bonaparte's retreat. So she was there promoting that. And it was very exciting. She met my dog. Once again, the dogs. We care about the dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love
She's
it,
a
Sarah.
powerhouse, and her voice just it transcends.
Yeah, yeah, and
Honestly.
so does you, and so does yours, honestly. And she saw it in you. I mean, seriously, like we talked about Rain Seed Montana. What a song! Look, I don't know what's going on, Sarah, but we're pulling all our chips on the Sara Jean Kelley train. Like we are all in. We are going all in on this. You're so good. And you know what? There's nothing more embarrassing than like backing people early on, like, and then they go nowhere. But that's not gonna happen with you. You are it. Like we love it. We feel
Well,
very
thank you.
strongly about it.
Yeah, thank you. I know I
Oh
was talking to a friend the other day, and he was just like, "Well, at least you're not in it for the money." And I was like, "Don't get me wrong.
no,
I
yes, we're
want money.
totally in it for the money.
We're in it for the money."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not the only reason. There are easier ways to make money. I'm not good at any of them. I just
Right.
don't. I just don't care about any of them. I was like, nothing else lights my fire the same way.
Exactly. Look, you're still gonna co-write, but better to do it in a nice hotel, then yeah,
Yeah,
I get it. Of
exactly.
course, Sarah. Oh my God. So yeah, the new album, everyone check it. It's called Black Snake, out November 19th, available wherever you may stream or purchase music. Um, are you gonna
It's
perform a
in
song for us?
Nashville. come to
Oh,
I said, and if you're in Nashville, come to the Black Snake EP release party at State Gallery on
look
November
at that.
20th.
Look at that. There you go. You are cordially invited. Look at that.
Everyone's invited.
Amazing. Amazing, Sarah. Are you in the mood to play a song? Do you want to play a
Oh
song for
yeah,
us?
let's do it.
Awesome. Awesome sauce.
Do you know which one would you? Goodness.
What are you feeling? We always ask our guests, especially one as in tune with energies as you are.
Yeah. Well,
What
how
are you
about
feeling?
I'll do my title track.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Black Snake.
Black snake, black snake, coming in through the holes in the walls. Black snake, black snake, looks so beautiful in white holes. Move so peaceful, move so tame. Can't see the shadows cast a long way. Black snake, black snake, who'd you come for this time? Black snake, black snake, you belong in the wild. Move so gentle, move so slow. Can't feel the tightness wrapped around my throat. Black snake, black snake, black snake, black snake.
Oh my God. Chills. My chills have chills, Sarah.
Oh boy, oh boy. Oh.
It's a lot. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Uh,
Thanks for a wonderful chat. Thank you for your
high
time.
now.
What's that?
I feel high.
Yeah, as you should. The universe feels high. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Sam.